Dia tak boleh nak read my mind. Tak ada. Lelaki tak ada gift tu. No, kita je ada gift tu.
Assalamualaikum and hello lovely viewers. Welcome back to Aisya Rahman Podcast, a place of celebration for independent women. I'm Julia, your host, and today we have one Aisya Rahman, your CEO, your answer to financial independence, ladies. Let's start our episode today with a little game we call red flag, green flag. This time around, I made sure that we make the questions gender neutral and not. Sebab last time ada sesetengah viewer lah yang komen kat I personally, like dia cakap, kau punya soalan ni
Press belah lah, confirm lah semuanya red flag kat lelaki.
okay. So this time around kita buat gender neutral, alright? First question, if the spouse says,
don't worry, I'll handle all of our money.
red flag or green flag? Red flag.
Okay, ni justifikasi please. In my household, I cakap begitu. So I kena greenkan diri I. Kena faham strategi I, Julia. Husband I ni dia kacak benar. Okay, akan ada wanita-wanita kat luar sana yang macam handsome lah dia ni, tapi dia tak tahu kewangan laki I semua. Bini dia ni guru Women Wealth Financial Planner. Confirm akulah yang handle. So tak perlulah kau nak rembat. Memang aku handle semua kewangan family aku.
So that is Aisya's way to defend herself in the future kalau apa-apa yang unexpected lah datang kan. I cakap red flag sebab I rasa macam we should have balance. Macam wife should have this certain perbelanjaan, and then suami also need to take care of certain stuff, because not everything women know.
Expenses ke?
Expenses,
expenses dia bayar.
Dia bayar, yelah.
I yang duit extra, I manage. Head off.
That's how you define handle money. What I mean is that macam bukannya semuanya everything serahkan kat dia. Maksudnya kita bahagi-bahagi, bukan bahagi-bahagi 50-50. That's not what I don't agree with that.
Tak apa, it's okay. So jadi pemahaman korang lah, pandai lah.
Okay, the second one, when someone says,
I prefer to live in the moment when it comes to money.
red flag. Sebab maksudnya you tak kisah pasal your future, so you don't set aside your emergency fund. So
Also because that's a coping mechanism yang I perasan. Orang-orang yang ada kewangan trauma, masalah past issue kan, dia cope guna kewangan. I deserve this, beli. Lepas tu benda tu tak pakai pun, dia keluarkan happy hormone dopamine. Apa kata you cari dopamine tu through healthy method, exercise, and stuff like that.
Next one, when someone says,
I only invest in things I understand.
green flag. Of course, like we have said in our previous podcast, we said that you should educate yourself before making any decisions.
But some people, the only thing they know is ESB financing. Lepas tu dia panggil benda lah tu investment. Acik you lah.
When someone says,
Retirement? We're still young, ma.
red flag. Macam tadi lah, you memang tak prepare for your future. Last but not least, when someone says,
I can always make more money later. No need to save lah.
red flag. Of course, needless to say, memang red flag. So Aisya, this is very special day for you. Sebab itulah hari ni kita buat topik tentang sharing everything with your husband. So I would like to say happy anniversary, Aisya. Ni dah kali keberapa anniversary?
Kalau husband and wife 11, kalau bercinta 12.
Wow, 12 years. Oh, more than a decade.
Yeah. Alhamdulillah.
So how many kids that you have in your journey of love?
2 kids je, 2 boys.
2 kids. Oh.
Mak kata my son malam tadi bila I pasang lagu Beyonce Who Run The World kan, dia buat Who Run The World? Boys. Mak dia lawan balik Who Run The World? Girls.
When women ask themselves, should you share everything with your husband? So does that mean you can have healthy finances in your marriage?
Okay, sharing everything, not everybody is comfortable. Also because maybe they don't feel safe. When you don't feel safe, naturally you become very guarded and defensive, even with your spouse. So in our marriage kan, kalau I boleh bagi contoh, in our earlier days, I don't tell my husband sangat. And then there was a period that I did tell him. So because of that, we felt comfortable. We had this cushion. Tapi bila cushion tu dah tak ada, you rasa macam crap man, we have to. And kais lah. But to a certain extent, I don't share beberapa benda. Contoh simpanan, investment. Sebab I kan financial planner, nanti ada lah tu. Ada, jangan risau. Hakak ni manage. But I don't go to the extent of revealing everything. But what we do share is budgeting. Maksudnya yang membayarnya dia. Yang I suruh membayarnya, B, tolong bayar ni, bayar ni.
Semuanya dia lah.
Semua dia. Claim, seeding. Lepas tu birthday I November. Seeding. So sebagai seorang isteri, penting seeding in advance. Janganlah birthday kau besok, kau seeding hari ni, tak dapat dan nak nolong. So you seeding beberapa bulan in advance. Sebab laki ni dia kayu. Tak maaf, laki ni senang je. Rahsia kebahagiaan I yang I belajar lambat adalah, you nak something, you bagi tahu terus.
Kena bagi tahu.
Dia tak boleh nak read my mind. Tak ada. Lelaki tak ada gift tu. No, kita je ada gift tu. So dengan husband ni yang I suka, I'm very straightforward. And that's where transparency happens. When there's a big spending upcoming, I akan seeding, bagi tahu upfront, kita kena belanja gini, you have this time, boleh tak you tolong. So Alhamdulillah. But it wasn't the case before lah. But kesabaran tu sangat penting.
So you practice open communication with your husband. So,
especially problems, financial problems. I think learning from our bankruptcy, because he hid it from me. For a year, he hid the bankruptcy from me, and we learned the hard way. But I'm glad that that happened. He hid it from me, because else I think the risk would be I could have lost my eldest son due to stress, anxiety,
you were
depression.
pregnant at the time.
I was pregnant. But I'm learning from that episode. It's always best to be transparent with problems and with profits. Bila you down, you kongsi. Bila you up, you kongsi. Jadi perjalanan tu bersama.
I see. So how do you approach your husband to talk about this? This is a difficult conversation to have with your spouse. So how do you approach, like maybe the timing or the wording that you choose?
Okay, Aisya dulu sekarang dia masih straightforward lah. Kadang-kadang tak ada perasaan, very brutal. Tapi I remember dulu bila ada masalah, even waktu bekerja, I ambil phone, I either text or terus call. I tak fikir yang laki I pun tengah bekerja, tengah face, ada tanggungjawab yang dia tengah buat dekat office. I terus attack. And benda tu akan berdiri, so akan jadi apa tau, Julia? Constant text. And laki ni pula, dia bukan macam kita. They don't articulate. Dia sepatah. Tak balas terus I terbakar. Padahal dia tengah kerja ni. I tak fikir benda tu. I'm like, I text you now, you reply me now. But I have learned after 11 to 12 years now, there's always a timing. Number one, make sure anak-anak tak dekat rumah. Pergi sekolah time tu ke, atau ada dengan my parents ke, atau somewhere lah kat luar. Tak boleh. Kedua, kena tempat yang kalau boleh tenang. Some of our viewers, maybe you guys duduk dengan your parents, your in-laws kan. Jangan buat kat rumah, nanti dia tak open. Nak open, kawasan tu pun kena open. Kalau boleh janganlah dalam bilik. Tapi kalau tu je option you, buatlah dalam bilik tapi tak ada orang lain kat rumah. Kalau boleh you go somewhere else. Pergi Padang ke Tasik ke, exercise yang you punya environment pun kena enable openness. Jangan kau pergi shopping mall, lepas tu kau nak dia open, memang tak dapat. And then another thing is you have to lead by example and emulate the openness. Kalau you soalan pertama macam I kan, kenapa? Confirm lah dia pun defense up. So kita kena berlembut. Ya Allah, jadilah malaikat isteri bidadari, berlembutlah dengan suamimu and pilihlah timing yang betul. Pillow talk sometimes, kalau topik tu tak heavy boleh pillow talk, tapi kalau topik tu heavy, buatlah waktu hari tak bekerja dekat tempat yang tenang. Pergilah somewhere, healing ke apa, bercakap pasal kewangan. Tapi ada juga orang yang dah try dah buat macam tu, tak boleh. Kena ada third party, counselor, therapist or psychologist, right? You kena ada. Sebab kadang-kadang barah ni, Julia, it's like a cancer. Financial can be a cancer in itself, where if you don't address it in the beginning, masa dia stage 1, dah stage 4 nanti, sometimes dah tak boleh dah nak tolong sebab dah lambat. Tapi more things need to be done masa stage 4 lah, sebab dia dah bukan prevention dah, dia dah intervention.
So in order to prevent that, you have to practice open communication at the early. Tapi macam ikut lah juga keadaan. Tak nak lah macam baru 2 minggu berkenalan dah open semua benda tu, susah lah kan. Kena tahu boundaries.
Dan apa I buat ini tips lah, beli sitos laki you pun beli sitos you juga. Kalau boleh have that conversation, kalau sebelum kahwin lah kalau belum terlambat lagi, beli sitos each other, duduk and sembang kewangan. Sebab you nak tahu dia ada masalah tak kewangan. Sebab kalau ada masalah, address upfront, be open. Because at least kalau you tak boleh dengan orang yang macam nak lari dari masalah, dan tinggalkan dia, cari lelaki lain. Banyak lagi Prince Martin kat luar. Tapi kalau you rasa dia okay, kewangan you pun okay, then proceed to the next step. Openness, kalau dari awal di practice, insyaAllah okay lah. Tapi tak boleh lah nak guarantee, but at least that's the first baby step.
Some people, they like to hear the tips how to approach your husband about money, but also at the same time, they would contemplate. They would think, I don't think I can live without having this conversation with my husband. So how do we make these women realize that it is very important to be transparent about money with their husband?
First, remember that everything in life, whether you're single or married, everything in life requires money. Money is not everything, but everything needs money. Lagi bila kita dah kahwin, apa common expenses as a couple?
Common expenses, rumah, sewa, groceries, children's education, semua lah.
Lagi bills kan. So all these common things, semua ni. So bila semua benda ni common things yang memang you kena belanja, you tak pernah bercakap, then money tu akan automatic bayar benda ni. Is it? Money tu bukan automatic. We have to control the money, bukan money control kita. Masalah a lot of couple, money control them, and it's never enough when that happens. So if we change the game, we control the money, because money is just a tool, Julia. Money will only amplify what's already in your heart. So nak tak nak, you kena communicate. I faham tak semua orang ada that gift or rezeki. Lepas tu apa tindakan seterusnya? Kenalah cari solution. Fa'inna ma'al usri yusra, inna ma'al usri yusra. Hardship is Allah dah janji akan ada is, tapi you kena susah. Sanggup tak susah? Sebab tu banyak orang avoid. Tak ramai orang nak bersusah. Dia nak senang je. Senang tu result, susah tu proses. Macam mana you nak dodge the process? You can never dodge the process. So when you go through the process, it's painful, sure, but then when ease comes, you'll be so grateful yang you dah literate in comparison to the you before.
Also, when you first got married, the learning process for both of the husband and the wife. So that way, daripada situ, that they encourage responsibility, then teach each other about how to build trust.
Lagi satu, I nak bagi satu komen lah. Kalau baru kahwin, jangan duduk dengan your parents or in-law. Jangan. Because either one of you, kalau you duduk dengan parents you akan malas. Kalau you duduk rumah in-law, you punya pasangan yang akan malas. So nak buat responsibility, kena rasa sakit dulu. Kena duduk keluar. Pergilah rumah sewa. Ramai orang kata, oh, duduk dengan parents and in-law sebab tak mampu nak nak beli rumah. Siapa suruh you beli rumah? I cakap rumah sewa, right? Maybe your argument is, alah, bazir duit beli rumah sewa. Siapa cakap? You tahu tak, kalau nak duduk Kota Damansara ni, kalau I nak beli rumah terrace and lot, I kena bayar at least 2 juta almost kat certain area. And 2 juta berapa income I? Berapa ribu. Tapi kalau I sewa tempat yang sama, 2,000 lebih je I kena bayar. So dah jimat kat situ. Tak salah sewa. You can look at our earlier podcast, we spoke about buy or rent. Banyak manfaat yang boleh dapat kat situ. So jangan pakai these excuses membazir sewa. Not today.
So these people who avoid talking about the very, very important thing about money, being transparent, how will this affect their marriage? What financial stress that they will face?
For women specifically,
For women.
anxiety and depression. Bila kita pendam, dia macam volcano tau Julia. To certain extent, right, the volcano will erupt. If you suppress, avoid, malu, malas, semua tu lah. Jadi victim mindset. Volcano you akan satu hari dia erupt. And bila dia erupt, time tu orang boleh tolong ke tak? Certain level of anxiety and depression, dia dah tak boleh tolong. Dia dah kena level ubat and kesian ke anak-anak. You tak boleh communicate dah time tu sebab your mental is taking over everything else. System you dah shut down. You dah erupt. So kalau you tak nak sampai level tu, you kena bersusah-susah sekarang. Stress ni, you tak boleh itu. Stress ni, to certain people, dia boleh absorb stress. Tapi know that as women ataupun manusia, bila stress tu terlampau banyak, dia akan affect physical. Remember, stress is up here. Dia akan affect physical. Bila affect physical, apa penyakit yang kita dah nampak dalam women and wah?
I think we have cancer.
Cancer ni, women common dekat mana?
Common dekat breast usually.
And sekarang makin muda tak orang ada breast cancer?
Makin muda,
Makin muda. Bila makin muda, simpanan tak ada, protection pun tak ada, takaful tak ada, insurance tak ada. Lepas tu, mengharapkan pergi hospital kerajaan. Tapi hospital kerajaan pun dah memang backlog banyak gila. Lepas tu, during that process, you sakit. So, nak tak nak, you kena celik lah benda ni. Because stress is something that we cannot measure. But we can combat that with something that we can measure, which is financial literacy. Because nak pergi treatment breast cancer, pakai duit, pakai masa, tak boleh kerja. Some company, dia bagi you 3 bulan je, lepas tu dia let go. Sebab company kena operate. Bukan sebab you sakit, I nak kena help my business. I ada team members yang lain, I nak kena bayar gaji. So, tahu risiko tu, you're paying a lot more price when you're not financially literate and responsible.
Yeah, and also tadi you cakap tentang masa, it will also affect on the quality time spent with your husband, with your children, right?
Betul.
And then from the less quality time spent, and then it will lead to more what?
Conflict, argument, because we're just human. We want attention and to be loved. When our spouse is not spending time with us, kita akan rasa ignored or abandoned or macam tak penting. Kat situlah jadi unsur-unsur masalah seterusnya. Dia mula mencari kasih sayang di luar kawasan liputan.
Oh my gosh. Nauzubillah. So in order to avoid this conflict, what can women do to work together with the husband on finances?
I nampak the number one thing yang glue us together bukan financial sebenarnya. I nampak the number one thing lah. I thought it was finance, but sebenarnya bukan. Number one, dia adalah spiritual. So ibarat this triangle ke atas ni Allah, belah sini wife, belah sini husband. Ramai orang makin lama makin jauh. Yelah sebab time, kerja, sibuk kan, responsibility, PJJ, long distance relationship. It's okay, but know that you can always, sebab Allah tu Allah. You tak perlu nak kena ada specific time and place untuk dekatkan diri dengan dia. You can always biasa dekatkan. So Allah tu lagi dekat daripada our jugular vein. Dah cakap dalam Al-Quran. So pentingnya dalam nak urus kewangan ni, first kali you kena fix ni dulu, spiritual. You have to be Allah-centered, God-centered. And through that, you pasang ni. I think what I forgot to do last time, I was always constantly doing cari sales, earn commissions, very high commission, sampai lupa Allah. And sebab tu Allah duga balik dengan benda yang kita nak, kewangan. Sebab I at that time mission I nak keluar bankrupt. Jadi Allah duga balik benda yang sama, kewangan. And when I terduduk, I realise, oh okay, kita kewangan ni sebab apa? Sebab kita ni trusty, kita pinjam rezeki dari Allah. Allah pemilik rezeki. So kita kena hormat dia. Macam I tengah pinjam barang you, handbag you, lepas tu I ranakkan bag you, lepas tu I pulang balik. Bingit lah dengan I. Memang you belasah lepas tu kan. Sama juga. Konsep yang untuk mudah faham lah analogi ni. So Allah first. And Allah ni dari segi apa, walaupun kita long distance relationship ke, or spouse dah tak ada, kita masih boleh dekat macam ni lagi. Sebab Allah tu universal, dekat mana-mana. So tu number one. Lepas dah clear spiritual ni, you are aligned. Okay, tahu kita akan mati suatu hari nanti. Jadi apa yang kita ada dalam hidup ni adalah tanggungjawab dan amanah. Duit adalah tanggungjawab dan amanah. Anak-anak tanggungjawab dan amanah. Your career is tanggungjawab dan amanah. Jaga semua benda ni. Sebab inilah lubuk-lubuk pintu-pintu rezeki. Rezeki bukan je kewangan, tapi rezeki juga dari apa yang kita tengah buat. Ini bagi podcast ni amanah. Bukan dapat duit pun, bukan YouTube bayar kita pun. Kenapa kita buat? Every Friday kita issue podcast. Sebab apa?
Kita nak menyebarkan ilmu.
Sebab apa? Allah dah bagi kita ilmu, betul tak? Ilmu tu pun tanggungjawab amanah. Nanti satu hari nanti Julia, Allah akan tanya, kau buat apa dengan ilmu aku bagi kau? Kau seorang je kaya. Umat Islam kena kaya kan? Rasulullah SAW dan sahabat-sahabat semua jutawan. Sebab apa? Bila you ada duit, you tak meminta, you memberi. You nak buat apa? Masjid? Jom. Apa lagi? You nak bersedekah? Jom. Ada orang ni baru meninggal, tolong dia? Jom. Daripada macam sangkut kan. So working together together as a couple, you have to be very clear one day you're going to die. While before you're dying, you are living, you have this responsibility. How can we be our best while aligning our values here to the hereafter? And then bila you dah dapat duit tu pun lagi satu responsibility. Money will not look after itself. You as the master, you kena jaga benda tu. Channelkan dia, kena ada strategi. Bukan terus tanya kita kan kat our DM kan selalu,
kat mana yang nak invest? Oh, I ada goal dengan property. Which one better
Dia bukan which one better tau. Dia which one yang you perlukan, yang akan serve you. You jangan jadi hamba kepada aset-aset tu. Biar aset-aset tu jadi hamba dekat you.
So Aisya, what about some people who thinks that splitting 50-50 is good enough? Because to me, I personally, I don't think that's a good solution. What do you think?
For me, dia tengok keadaan. I know some wives yang jadi housewife, and I also know husbands yang jadi house husband because of whatever that's happening in their household. Janji both of you understand each other, agree, Alhamdulillah. Tapi kau society akan rasa, kenapa you housewife, you bukan ada master ke? Kenapa you house husband, bukan you ada degree this, you laki kot. Tu antara korang. As a husband, korang kena mutually agree and buat pekak lah telinga tu. Ramai orang kadang-kadang kita ni manusia je kan, bila orang duk kutuk kita terasa tu yang jadi mula poin-poin setan nak masuk tu. So whether 50-50 ke 100-0 ke 70-30 ke terpulang, as long as you do you what works in your marriage,
As long as you have that mutual agreement.
So in conjunction with today's episode kan Julia, I think I wanna bagi ucapan to my husband sebab bersabar dengan I'm not an easy woman, I know that, because of the challenges that we go through to build a business from scratch. The bankruptcy itself wasn't easy, but I've done my part as a wife. So I think in conjunction with our 11 and 12 anniversary ni, I nak celebrate sama-sama besok. What's happening tomorrow?
Women Wealth Masterclass.
Our
Shah
largest
Alam.
ever, Masya Allah, at Shah Alam Convention Centre. I know it's pretty last minute. Some of you baru kenal kita. Kalau you betul nak datang besok, find our contact number dekat social media. My team will manually arrange your tickets. Okay?
As soon as possible.
Yang dah beli tiket, seriously, I cannot wait to meet you tomorrow, insyaAllah.
For collaborations, email us at marketing@aisyarahman.com. Don't forget to leave comments, like, subscribe and share with your friends, your family and sesiapa je lah yang you rasa boleh bermanfaat from our podcast today. See you next time. Bye-bye.